I lived in Shiga 5 years and in Kyoto 3.
Mm-hmm. Which is right next door, right?
Yeah, and Kyoto's still connected to Lake Biwa. Lake Biwa goes through Kyoto and then ends in Osaka.
Okay.
Or in that harbor that Osaka's next to, and then that's the ocean.
Okay.
The nature there is, you talked about regions and seasons, right?
Mm-hmm.
You could go to the same region, just experience it in different seasons. Because
So cool.
the seasonality of Japan is unmatched.
Yeah.
Because winter's winter, spring is spring, summer, summer, fall is fall, and you have reminders in every sense. You have reminders of what season it is.
That's so cool.
What you see,
Yeah.
you're not talking about observations, right?
Yeah.
Same place that I lived in 5 years looks different. It's like 4 different places throughout the year.
Yeah.
And then that cycle just happens. So by the my third year, I was kind of like catching on to the cycle.
Starting to get dialed in on the seasonal changes.
It's fall time. That's when they burn in that husk of the rice in the empty fields that have already been harvested, and you smell that smell and the smelling cues.
Yeah.
The tatami smell different in the fall than it does in the summer. Because in the
Really?
summer, the higher moisture, humidity, you know, you feel when you wake up, you already got a little layer of sweat on, even though it's 6 a.m. You know what I mean? You smell the tatami, you hear the sliding doors opening and closing. Like, there's so many sensory cues to what season you're in Japan. Not even talk about food yet. We didn't even talk about food. So, so that's like, I feel like I'm getting used to this seasonality of Japan, right? And I'm in the countryside. So I have, mountains, then a bunch of rice fields, and then Lake Biwa.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like right in the middle of that. Just one train line, north and south, running through there. I have a bike, Mama Chari. It's with a little wagon on the front, 1 gear. And I use that in my personal time to explore. It was a November, I think Saturday or Sunday. It was a Sunday morning in November. I get a call from a friend who's like, "You want to go horse riding?" And I was like, "Of course!" Like,
shoot.
I'm thinking, like, I wasn't expecting it. I was a little bit hungover too because the night before was kind of, So it's like I'm rolling around the tatami. It's cool. It's already cold.
Yeah.
November. Get the call. "You want to go ride horses?" I was like, "Okay, when and where? Where I gotta go?"
Yeah.
Maki. Shout out to Maki if she ever watches this. She was a literal nomad. She didn't have a home with plumbing and electricity and all that.
Yeah.
She literally set up like an awning kind of thing. She lived in nature. No AC. She's like, "No, AC is weak, makes you weak. Your body doesn't adjust how it should."
Wow.
Right? So she's living in the elements year round.
Wow.
And she had 2 horses, a big one and a small one.
She gave you the small one then, yeah?
Yeah, no, she was like, "Oh, I don't, even the big one might not be able to handle it." Because, morning, so okay, where you at? Boom, I bike there. 30-minute bike ride through the country. It's kind of cold already. It's kind of nippy, yeah? This was actually the first snowfall of the season, of the winter season. Okay. Not of the year, but the first season. So you imagine, I'm in the countryside, right? I have my snow boots on too. Yeah. Like some rubber snow boots, my not really made for winter, but I got to use it because it's the only long sleeve, long pants stuff I got, the gloves I have. I'm in just middle of rice fields, little houses scattered here and there. And we hit the trailhead, start going up the hill, and fall when there's no leaves, right? So even though it's a little switchbacky, we go up, kind of see your trail. Get some elevation, to the point where now we have some elevation and I can see through the trees because there's no leaves. I can see through all like the plains area where all the rice fields are, where I live. And then beyond that, Lake Biwa, a clear enough day that I could even see the other side of Lake Biwa, which some days you can't. Okay. It's a really big lake, right? Yeah. And I'm just like, whoa, this is, and it's like that really light snow. Like, that just kind of like floating down, zigzagging down. I'm on the back of this horse, and there's no, what is that called? Saddle? Like
bareback.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's what they call it.
Bareback. Is it? Yeah. I guess I was bareback horse riding.
Bareback horse riding. In the snow.
Like snow doing this and fresh tracks. You know what I'm saying? Like there's no one's tracks that we're following. So we're making our fresh on this horse. I've never been on a horse. Bareback. And she told me just grab his mane, yeah?
Wow. Literally didn't even have
bruh,
no reins, no nothing?
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, good thing it wasn't like a wild, buck me off type of horse,
Mustang.
I guess it was a tame horse, so first time rider like me. And she's like, just he'll him on the right if you want to turn right, he'll him on the left if you want to turn left. But he's probably just gonna follow me anyway. Yeah. I'm just like, this is crazy, you know? Like,
and it's the way you're describing it, I can picture it like to the T, which is so cool. And I've been in Japan once when it was snowing, and the feeling that you get in the mountains and in the woods when it's snowing in Japan, it has a certain energy and a certain like mana about the whole thing.
Exactly.
And you're just like, oh, like I get chicken skin thinking about it, you know?
Imagine on a horse now.
Elevated.
You know, because it was weird when we get like to like the trail's like this wide and then it starts to go down, right? And I'm already elevated on this animal that I don't know how to control. And I'm like looking like, that's far. I'm just, I gotta trust, right?
Yeah.
And talk about sound.
Yeah.
Sometimes that silence is a little bit louder.
Yeah.
And so I'm just like, this is amazing. You know, like my hangover's long gone. I'm just like
full
enjoying this, right?
Overload.
Bro, we just went on a little walk through the hills and mountains area, come back down, and it's like already, you know, the days are getting shorter.
It's like 3 o'clock. The sun's already going down.
She, that's the thing too. One time in the hills, like my horse just stopped.
Huh.
And I was like, oh, interesting. I didn't like give any signal or anything, like, but my horse stopped. And so I like, I don't know. I was like, let's go. Yeah. And I could see this horse's ears turn back. You know, I never rode a horse, but when I see his ears turn back towards me, I'm like, okay, I know this horse is listening to me.
Yeah.
But he's not listening to me, like following my commands. Yeah. I'm like, let's go.
He's like, quiet, bro. I'm trying to listen to something.
I'm like healing him and stuff. And then Maki just keeps going though. And I was like, oh, do I like dismount and
go horsey?
I was like, come on. I'm like, Maki, wait. Help. You know, she just turns around. She's like, turn around. And I turned around. He was just taking a dump. Oh. He was just taking a dump, and I was already like trying to kick him and like tell him to move.
He's like,
man, this is a nice horse. Yeah. He didn't get mad at me for like trying to rush him taking a dump.
Oh my gosh.
And then we go down, and this see, I already thought this was a great thing, right? Like this is amazing. Kind of breaks the like, oh, I'm in nature moment because her phone rings, and so she's just on the horse like, she's talking. Puts on the horse. She's like, my neighbor just got a 3-year-old female deer and is going to bring it over. Do you want some? I was like,
very specific.
Yeah. Of course. What am I saying? No. Like we got to go back to your place. And so this farmer next to her who sets cages.
Oh.
Because you know a lot of times deers are a problem. Yeah. And so sometimes the government will subsidize like whatever. I think it was 100 equivalent if we just say whatever Ichiman. Basically $100 per head.
Okay.
And I think all you needed was like I forgot which tooth.
As proof.
Yeah. Instead of bringing in the whole body. Mm-hmm. So he took the whatever tooth he needed to take, right? But now it's dark. The horses are back. I'm just like, that was dope. But now it's like round 2. Now we're going to slaughter this deer.
Butcher this deer. Wow.
So I was like, let's go. So it didn't stop. And so now it's like the back legs are hanging. Okay. So his head is down.
Yeah.
And then from that point, I just was stuck around for the skinning. He let me, because you got to pull real hard on that skin, right?
Yeah, to get it down.
And he was doing it with the blade and pulling with the blade.
Yeah.
And he like, you try. He's like, put your fingers really like, he's like, dig your fingers in, which actually felt good because it's warm.
Interesting.
You're know,
like, oh.
It was warm. Yeah, because it's already cold and it's nighttime now.
Yeah.
And so it actually kind of felt good.
Okay.
But then you pull it down. So, dude, skinning the deer, then obviously cutting up all the pieces, like the back pieces. The dogs over there are just like eating up all the scraps. Licking the blood as it dripped.
Wow,
bro!
What an experience.
I ended up riding my bike home with this, I think a back
strap.
Yeah, a piece of that wrapped in. I don't even know what it was wrapped in. But like I had this piece of deer meat, never frozen or
petals of sakura.
Yeah, bro.
What an incredible experience, dude!
And this is just in the countryside of Japan, right? A place a lot of Japanese people never even been to, or you know, it's easy to think of Japan like Tokyo, big city stuff or whatever. But dude, this kind of stuff is happening all the time, all over the place, in so many different seasons and regions. That like that's a personal experience that I can share.
Yeah,
but I hope it kind of stokes your flame, because that's the kind of environment that you're going into,
Yeah.
where you have people who don't make YouTube videos and just they're in it. Similar to how when people come to Hawaii and like culture shock.
Yeah.
You can't bring your New York energy over here. You know what I mean?
Like, you got to be open to it. Right?
Same thing. Like just when you travel that large, put down like your guard and just be open and like humble.
Good listener.
And then, the things that could happen are just amazing.
Oh, it's endless.
Yeah.
That's a super valuable lesson that I think through traveling and through life is becoming for me it was a big lesson, is becoming, how do I become a better listener? You know, like, oh no, it looks easy, I think I can do that. It's like no, like, boy, just watch. You know. So I'm like, I try to challenge myself in a lot of different settings, is to just be observant of this person doing this craft, or whether it's cooking something or if it's butchering something. I'm try to immerse and then, as humans do, is, you know, copycat, mimic, you know, and then learn from that experience. Man, that's cool, bro. So you butchered a deer before.
I butchered a deer on the first
I've never
day
butchered
of
a deer. After a bareback
After-
horse ride. Just straight raw dogging this horse.